To create a new workflow template, head to Templates, Workflow, and click Add Workflow in the upper right corner. Give your workflow a title and hit Next Step. To build each step in your workflow, click Add Action. Following your process plan, choose an action from the drop-down. Specify a trigger for when this action should run. Different combinations of actions and triggers create different options for customizing, so be sure to fill out all the instructions you see from top to bottom. Click Apply to save the action. Continue adding actions as needed. There's no Save button on the workflow template, so as soon as an action has been added, it is part of the current template. If you're adding an action that will send an email, you have the ability to select a canned email from the templates in your account, or to type out a new email right inside the modal. We recommend selecting a canned email template wherever possible, since it will keep you more organized in the long run. Content you type out on the fly here will not be saved as a template, so the wording would be lost if you ever deleted the action or the workflow. The same concept applies if you were to choose a canned email template and then make a few updates on screen. These changes will not be applied to your original canned email template. Here's a tip. Anytime you want to update or edit an email template, head to the canned email template section and save the changes there. Then reselect the canned email within the workflow action to load in the latest version. As you're building a workflow, remember that content templates you use will retain the same settings or connections they have outside of a workflow. This applies to things like proposals, schedulers, and payment plans. What you're really doing is nesting the function and content of these templates inside of a larger process. In practice, that means if you put a proposal template that includes a contract and invoice into a workflow, you don't need additional actions to send the contract or invoice, since all three will be included in the proposal. You can drag and drop actions on the workflow template to quickly reorder them. Often, keeping the actions in chronological order helps you understand what's happening and when. However, the order of actions on the workflow template does not necessarily determine the order that the actions will occur in real time. That's where the triggers you choose will make a difference. The order of your actions matter if an action clearly depends on a previous action above it, like anytime you're using the trigger after all previous actions complete. The order of your actions does not matter if an action depends on something outside of the workflow, like a client completing a form or a project date approaching. For example, the placement of an action triggered after form is not completed is irrelevant because it depends on the behavior of the client, not on the workflow actions above or below it. As a result, we like to move these follow-ups to the bottom of the workflow so that the main actions are easy to read. The best way to double check if you're building your workflow correctly is to test the workflow inside of a sample project with a mock client. Because there's more than one right way to use Dubsado, testing is the key to ensure that the automation you want to have lines up with what you actually have. It's also a fantastic way to identify any issues or errors in your process so that you can fix them before you use your workflow with a real client.